Alright, so right here, I have the best scores. Just charge his Black Orc War Boss and the one remaining Black Orc. His chariot had broke in the previous combat phase, so it's just fleeing towards the table edge here. His Night Goblins and the bosses easily kill the Raiders, and they overrun into the Ungor block. And I think the casualties there were caused by the Squig Herd exploding. Okay, so over here, his spiders coming over here to eat my Minotaurs, and I rally the Gore block. And yeah, at this point I've just kind of chalked this whole flank up to a loss because yeah, I can't get everything. I could win over here if I got the Minotaurs and the Gore block to fight one opponent at once, but that's not going to happen. So he's just gonna win over here, and my whole plan now is just to make it take as long as possible, and just keep buying time for my generals unit and the best scores to turn things around. And then right here, yeah, the best scores and the chariot, just they wipe out the remnants of that unit. Alright, so over here, like I said, I rallied the Gores, but the Savage Orcs, they break the Razor Gore, but he flees something pathetic, and he pops out the other side of the Minotaurs, but the Savage Orcs overrun into the Gores, and yeah, this is, like I said, I chalk this up as a loss, and I'm just trying to make it take a while. So, alright, so over here, yep, looking grim over here too. The Spider, my Ungors just barely managed to retain their steadfast, last turn. So they're not going to have it this turn, especially not with the Spider on their flank. But my Gores did manage to finish off all his characters, and they reformed with the chariot to face this way. So that was a pretty good. I'm at a pretty good advantage in the Magic phase now, and leadership-wise, he doesn't have his general or his BSB, which is really what those goblins need to hang around. So hopefully I can just win some, hang out long enough to win combats, and yeah, we'll see. Alright, so he rallies his chariot and just kind of starts bringing it back here. It's not really going to do much. Alright, so over here, this is just, he just charges the Spider into the Minotaurs. And yeah, basically what I'm predicting him to do is he's going to play the Savage Orc combat first, kill the Gores, overrun into the Minotaurs, and just wipe the floor with them. So yeah, this is just a disaster over here. I'm praying that I can hold out long enough for his Savage Orcs, for me to get the best of Gores into the Savage Orcs, because then I'll just be able to take them down. But I'm not really counting on it, so that's what's going on over here. Yeah, here's the best of Gores, reformed at the top of the hill after beating the Black Orcs. Okay, so now his Doom Diver's actually been shooting this whole time, but this is the first turn where it actually did something, and it ended up sniping one of my Shadow Wizards. Okay, so over here he just slaughters a ton of Ungors, but miraculously, due to the reroll, I rolled up Insane Courage, and so yeah. So he takes the opportunity to do a combat reform, and he just reforms to face his unit towards my general. And actually, now that I'm actually talking about it in the report, I don't know if that was legal, or if he could do that, but he would have to leave the bosses in combat, because he's pulling the bosses out of combat to do this. So I don't know if that's illegal. So any opinions on that, definitely let me know. So yeah, so he reforms to kind of face my general's unit. Alright, over here, exactly what I predicted. Savage Orcs beat the snot out of the Gores and overrun the side of the Minotaurs, and then even though I put 4 wounds onto the Spider and killed a bunch of Savage Orcs, he won that combat handily. Actually, I think he slaughtered the Minotaurs to a man. So, yeah, Spider overran. And then he just overran to get away from the Bestigors. He didn't quite run into the Razorgore though. So, yeah, just like I said, this is collapsing over here, and now I don't think I'm going to be able to get the Bestigors into these Savage Orcs, which is what I really want to do. And here, yep, here's my glorious failed charge. The Bestigors started out on top of the hill, and then failed the charge. It was a long one, you know. I think it was near maximum range, so had to try it, but they failed. And then the chariot up there at the top of the hill charged the Doom Diver. So hopefully I can get rid of that thing. Alright, so over here, it turns out with my 90-degree wheel and closing the door, I could finagle the chariot so that, you know, this is where it ends up, and get most of my general's unit in combat. So I'm pretty happy with that. And here's the aftermath of that combat. He killed a ton of Gores. Those bosses, they were mean, but I managed to do enough wounds to win the combat. Not even by a lot, but at this point he was just relying on his goblin leadership to keep him in the fight, and it just didn't work out for him. So I ended up breaking both of them and running them down, but I lost the Ungores and a lot of Gores in the process. But you know, it was worth it. Alright, and here's a horrid picture of my chariot destroying his Doom Diver, and yeah, Doom Diver's gone, thank God. And then in his last turn, he just kind of moves everybody, you know, back here. Yeah, and this is basically the left side of the board at the end of the game. We got his Savage Orcs facing off against my Bestigors, and we were both convinced that our respective units would win that combat, but sadly the store was closing and we weren't able to find out. I'm pretty sure the Bestigors would have just slaughtered them though. Anyway, so this is the left side, and then over here on the right you can see that, you know, all he's got over here is this chariot. So as it turns out, I think he said he had 800 or 900 points left on the table, and I had, you know, quite a bit more than that. So resounding victory to the Beastmen. So I had a lot of fun playing against the new Orc book, you know, and Dave had a good time too. So anyway, as usual, if you guys have any advice or tips for either me or my opponents, rules wise or game wise or whatever, definitely let me know. I play them all regularly. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll catch you guys later.